I'll wait for y'all to stop strolling and pay attention to this lesson. This is Dorothy Dandridge. She was the first black person to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress in the role that she played in Carmen Jones. A lot of people like to say that she's a black Marilyn Monroe, but to be real with you, Marilyn Monroe is a white Dorothy Dandridge. Marilyn Monroe got a lot of her mannerisms and fashion sense and just the way that she carried herself from Dorothy Dandridge. And Dorothy Dandridge was a woman of many talents. She sung in places like the Cotton Club and the Apollo Theater in New York. In my opinion, Dorothy Dandridge was one of the most beautiful women in the world, so talented. She was born November 9th, 1922, and she was the second daughter of Ruby Dandridge, who was an entertainer, and Cyril Dandridge, who was a cabinet maker and a Baptist preacher. She had an older sister that was 1 year older than her named Vivian. Ruby had left Cyril before Dorothy was even born, and by the time Dorothy got into this world, Ruby had upped up the boogie and went to somewhere else where she met a friend named Geneva. And Geneva used to be helping her with her kids and taking care of her needs and stuff because she was struggling. She was trying to come up in the entertainment industry and she needed help. So Geneva helped her and Geneva eventually became her lover. Now, Geneva was said to be very abusive toward the kids. She used to have them practicing all day and all night until they was damn near about to pass out. And if they missed a step, or she went straight Joe Jackson on them. So the kids were very successful. They had started a group called the Wonder Kids. And everything was going good until the Great Depression hit. And baby, nobody wanted to pay to do nothing but survive. People wasn't thinking about seeing nobody go sing and dance all across the stage. They was trying to see what their next meal or how they was going to pay their next bill. Geneva seemed to have been pretty stable with whatever work she was doing. And Ruby was just sitting around and she was just like, you know what, this not working for me. I need to get up and make something happen. So she left the kids in Geneva and New York and she went her little self over there to Cali to go try to make her way in the entertainment industry yet again. So Ruby ended up landing small-time maid roles, and she was also doing some radio stuff. And she ended up making enough money to where she can move the rest of the family out there to Cali. And that's what happened. And when the rest of the family moved out to Cali, they put the girls in school for the first time in their lives. Those girls were not in school. And right now, when she's moving them to Cali, they're about 11, 12 years old, have not had a formal education. So while they were in school, they met a girl named Etta Jones that liked to sing and dance too. And they added her to the group and called themselves the Dandridge Sisters because they were getting older. They didn't want to be called the Wonder Kids anymore. So one night they were set to perform and Bill Bojangles was performing on the bill as well. And Dorothy had went over there and sat on his lap. And I don't think that she did it flirtatiously. You know what? I don't even know why she would sit on this man's lap. But when she sat on his lap, he had whispered in her ear, "Watch out for the wolves." And then went on to say, like me. Girl, she got up off his lap so quick. First of all, baby, why was you on his lap? Like, that's crazy. So Geneva was the manager, but she wasn't able to make it to every performance. So at the end of the night, to make sure that they were not participating in any sexual activity, she would literally physically check their private part to make sure that their hymen was still intact. Baby, that is sexual abuse, assault, something. Dorothy ended up getting married when she was 16 or 17 years old to Harold Nicholas. And he was in a group called the Nicholas Brothers, who were also singers, performers, entertainers. And they had eventually got married September 6, 1942, and had a very lavish Hollywood, high profile. They had all kind of Hollywood people there. It was a big event. Harold was a womanizer. It was said that Dorothy went ahead and got pregnant so she could hopefully get him to stop cheating. But baby, that didn't stop him. One day when Dorothy was 9 months pregnant, she said that she was having stomach pains. And Harold was just like, baby, I'm about to go golfing. You've been having stomach pains all week. Let me know if something go down. And she was like, well, if something go down, I'm not going, you leaving with the car and everything. So he was like, all right, you're right. I'll bring you by my sister's house and they'll help you if anything go down. So he brought her by the sister house. The sister, they didn't expect nothing to happen, but she actually went into labor. And when she went into labor, they called the golf course that he said that he was going to be at, and they said that that man was never there that day. So they ended up having to find a way for her to the hospital, and when they did, she ended up trying to hold the baby in. She tried to hold the baby in until her husband got there, and the doctor ended up having to use some type of tool to get the baby out. Well, one day, they noticed that the baby used to always just stare at the wall and not say anything, and it had like two years had gone by and she wasn't even trying to talk. So then that's when Dorothy had went to all different type of specialists to see what was wrong with her baby. And one doctor finally told her that her baby was mentally retarded. Eventually, Harry figured out that the family life, the married life, just wasn't for him. Especially after the baby was deemed mentally retarded. He actually accused the baby of not being for him because he said that his DNA didn't make them type of children. Girl, the gall and nerve of men. So Dorothy was all alone with her baby and she was going broke. So she had to get back out there and start back working. So she hired a caretaker for the baby and she got back on into showbiz. She had met a guy named Phil Moore, and at first it seemed like he didn't have no motion. Every time she would ask him about opportunities, he would act like she was getting on his nerves until she put it on him. And then all of a sudden, all kind of doors opened up for her. Girl, now that's sad. At this point, she had gotten used to using her body to get what she wanted. And she started sleeping with just about everybody that she could to make advances in her career. She was turning tricks left and right. Dorothy said, put it on to make her want to marry me. So there was a casting call for a movie called Carmen Jones, directed by Otto Preminger. And baby Dorothy went up in there all business casual, and she was like, I'm here to be Carmen. I don't want no supporting roles. I want to be Carmen. So Otto looked at her and was like, baby, you don't look like no Carmen. Carmen is sexy and sensual. You a little bit too clean cut and classy. Otto said, she coming up here talking about some she Carmen. So, girl, Dorothy went up in there the next day with her shirt all busted open, red lipstick on, hair all wild and sensual. And she said, look, I said, I'm Carmen. And by the end of the night, she was in bed with Otto and had landed that part. Now, she had started an affair with Otto, which she shouldn't have did because she fell in love with him. And then she ended up pregnant. And the whole movie cast, everybody around them, including Otto, said, do not have that baby. And he said, baby, look, this wasn't nothing but a little fling. Don't be trying to turn this into no family and all that. I got a wife and I'm not leaving her. So she ended up getting rid of the baby, and then shortly after the fling was over, Otto said, I am a big time director. Baby, if I pop out anything a little bit of brown, nobody ain't fucking with me no more. Dorothy eventually got married to this guy named Jack Dennison. He was a hotel owner. It seemed like, things were going pretty good between them. But they ended up getting divorced due to financial setbacks and rumors of domestic violence. So Dorothy, she ended up getting this good gig out in Mexico, and she was getting ready for it, and all of a sudden somebody found her naked in her hotel room, face down, and it said that she had overdosed off antidepressants. She was 42 when she died, very young. To be honest, I think she made a mistake in overdose because she was really excited. Well, it seemed like she was excited. That's what people say. They felt like she was pretty excited about the gig that she was about to have in Mexico. It was a 3-picture gig, so she was going to be making a lot of money off of it. So I think that she made a mistake and took too many pills.